Hi guys, today we'll be talking on the quadratic equation. And here on the board we have quadratic equation is of the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. We call the a the coefficient of the quadratic term, and b the linear coefficient, and c the constant. In quadratic equation, we have basically three methods for solving problems. The first one, we call it method of factoring or factorization method. Number two, we have method of quadratic formula. We also have method of completing the squares. So whichever method we choose to use, the result of the problem will still be the same. So we want to take the first method of factoring. We have here an example to use for this particular illustration. We say here, solve for x in 2x squared minus 5x plus 3 equals 0. To solve for this, we need to understand the various coefficients and what they stand for. From A is equal to 2, B is equal to minus 5, C is equal to 3, and the product of A and C is equal to 6. So they are all here. A equals 2, B equals 5, C equals 3. So the product of A and C, which is AC, equals 6. That's 2 times 3 equals 6. So enable solve for this, we need to find two numbers. Two numbers, we can call it P and Q, such that when we add those two numbers, it will give us B, this value here, minus 5. And when we multiply those two numbers, it will give us AC, the value of AC. In this case, it's 6. So if we look at these two numbers, in this case, the numbers are minus 2 and minus 3. These are the only two numbers such that when we add them, it will give us minus 5. And when we multiply them, it will give us 6. Minus 2 minus 3 is minus 5. And minus 2 times minus 3 is 6. At that point now, we use the two numbers. Minus 2 and minus 3 to express the middle term of this equation as the product of the numbers and the unknown variable. So here, so we express the middle term, minus 5x here, as a function of the two numbers times the unknown value, which is x in this case. That is, instead of writing minus 5 here, we now split and have 2x squared minus 2x. That's the first of that number, minus 2 times x, that's the unknown, minus 3x, the second number times x. We now have minus 2x minus 3x, such that if we take the sum of that, we still have minus 5x. So we've been able to split the middle term and replace it with minus 2x minus 5x, which in a sense is still minus 5x. Plus 3 equals 0. So we now factor out the common terms, because here something is common and here something is common. For the first two terms here, what we have that is common is 2x. There's 2x here because 2x times x gives 2x squared. And there's 2x here, and 2x times 1 gives 2x. So we split out, factor out 2x. And that's where the name comes in, method of factoring. We take out 2x here, and what is left here will be x. What is left here will be minus 1. For the last two terms, something is common, and that is 3. So we factor it out. We take out minus 3. What's left here is x. And what's left here is minus 1, because minus 3 times x is minus 3. And minus 3 times minus 1 is 3. So we've been able now to factor out some things in the first two terms and in the last two terms to have this particular line. At that point, we also see that something is common here and something is common here. And what is common is x minus 1. So we factor out x minus 1. We keep it aside. What is left here now is 2x. We factor x minus 1 here. What is left here is minus 3 equals 0. So if we multiply two terms to get 0, it's either the first term is 0 or the second term is 0, because one of the terms must be 0. So here we say is either x minus 1 is 0 or 2x minus 3 is 0. Is either this is 0 or this is 0. So if this is 0, if you take minus 1 this way, that means x is equals to 1. And if 2x minus 3 equals 0, it means that x equals to 3 over 2. Because if we take minus 3 this way, and we divide both sides by 2, we have x equals 3 over 2. So that is for that particular method of solving quadratic equation. Thank you very much for staying till this moment for this particular video. I believe you've learned something and you'll be able to see where to comment and add up. The next thing you want us to do, please feel free and do well to comment on the comment section. Thank you very much.